Hello, today we're doing a replay review of what is I believe a mid 3K game, about 3.5 or 3.6K average, maybe a bit higher. We're going to be analyzing the Oracle today, who is I believe 3.5K MR. I played Oracle quite a bit, not so much as 7.0, but I played a ton of him in 688, and he hasn't changed a ton since then. And I'll get to the changes when they're relevant, but he's still mostly the same hero for all intents and purposes. Now, walked up and accidentally used a shine, whatever. Okay, so the first thing I don't like here is, so I don't think you're varying anything else to yourself here, so I think it's safe to say that I'm assuming this is your entire starting build. Like, you're not going to buy anything else for now, you're just saving the rest of your gold. And I don't really like that in this case, because the reason I don't like it is because you already show with a Windlace, which is good. I like Windlace starts on Oracle, because it makes it easier to harass the enemies and get in position for your Fortune's End. But the problem is you really need to spend most of your starting gold to secure you an advantage in the game. So, for example, here's ways you could have spent your gold this game, this extra 135 gold. One thing you could have done was you could buy a Salve. Ever since the change to the 7.0 with the shrines added in, I found that I need to start with more regen on my supports. The reason being that the enemy offlanes now have a shrine right next to them. So if you force them out of lane and they run out of regen, they're not necessarily going to have to back off and go jungle or just leave the lane completely. They can just go back to shrine and then come back at full health and mana. And what that means is that you need to be really careful about how you approach the regen trades. So I'm assuming that as a skilled Oracle player, you know that you go to the lane at the start of the match and attempt to either kill the off lane or harass them out. And due to all of Oracle's nerfs to his base damage, he's had a nerf of total of 8 base damage, I think. But anyways, due to those nerfs, he's a lot less good at harassing them compared to what he used to be. So that's especially important for him to have that extra regeneration in your inventory. In some cases, against weak offlanes, you can get away with just one set of tangos in your inventory. But I think I'm assuming you're going to be against a solo Abaddon here, maybe a duel with the Necro, but I'm not sure yet. But it's a solo Abaddon, which means that he's going to be against your Spectre. And I can tell you this, Abaddon is extremely strong against heroes like Spectre, because once he hits level 3, he gets a huge power spike with his level 2 Aphotic Shield. Because since Aphotic Shield both deals damage and effectively heals him, it gets doubly good as it levels up, if that makes sense. Not only is he healing himself for 140 if the barrier is destroyed, but he's also dealing 140 magic damage to everyone in a huge area around him. So that's why it's really important that you need to shut down this Abaddon and make sure that you secure your Spectre a farm and experience advantage early, so that way she can farm in lane safely and maybe even be able to harass him out of lane herself. And even if she can't necessarily harass him out of lane, maybe she might at least be able to, stay in lane longer. Because let's be realistic here, he started with a PMS and 4 tangos, so once he gets level 3 or 4, he's going to have 1 or 2 points in Curse and a couple points in the Aphotic. And at that point, if he's in your lane alone with your Spectre, and your Spectre has the same level as him, and even if she has a little bit more farm than him, Abaddon is just going to run right up to her and start attacking her. And Spectre's base armor isn't actually very good. It's only 3 base armor, and she also has pretty terrible base damage as well. When you take a look at Abaddon, he also has bad armor, even worse, but on the other hand, he has a lot more damage, and he's also going to get attack speed, because he's definitely going to get at least 1 point in Curse of Avernus, maybe 2. So that's why you really don't want to neglect regen as a support now in 7.004, currently, the current patch. In case you really feel fine with your lack of a salve here, one thing you could do is you could get one additional clarity here. I really like to start with at least 2 clarities on Oracle, sometimes 3. And the reason to that is because of all the mana nerfs to Purifying Flames. The mana used to be like 50, 60, 70, 80, but now it's significantly increased at low levels, and it's even higher at the level 3 and level 4 as well, just not as drastically. So that means if you're ganking a lot and you're really active in the early game, you want to have the clarities available to you so that you can always keep your mana up and keep rotating and securing an advantage for your team. And this is especially important now that the clarities aren't cancelled by neutrals. I mean, you could vary those clarities out to you later in the game, but personally, I like to have that safety net of at least 2 clarities. Like, you could have bought 1 clarity here and still have 85 gold banked in case you wanted to ensure you got early boots. And that's why usually if people do pool their gold on a support, that's usually wise to buy early boots. I'm not sure if that's the reason this game, but we'll find out shortly. You don't need to do that for a Flying Courier because you'll always have the gold for Flying Courier if you haven't bought anything else by that point, just by having the passive gold, and maybe gold from a gank or 2. But if you did have another reason for why you banked your gold here, I would be really interested in hearing it. Just to like get your thought process on that. Because hearing the thought process of other players, even if they're ranked lower than you, is, I think, something valuable. Okay, and let's see, looks like you're just waiting here for the rune. I guess your Wyvern randomed or something. Okay, looks like you're starting top. Start of the game. Oh, this is an interesting lane. Okay, so real quick, I'll just talk about what the pros and cons of dual laning here is. Now, with all the nerfs to supports recently and pulling, tri-lanes are a lot less stronger than they used to be. And I think dual off laning, even with Oracle, is definitely something that's very viable in this patch. But I don't know if I particularly like it this game. And the reason for that is because you have a Spectre on your safe lane who is notoriously vulnerable at low levels. Like I mentioned earlier, she has terrible base damage, mediocre base armor for a melee hero. She has bad base speed. Her level 1 abilities all are really terrible. Like Spectral Dagger, it costs a ton of mana, and sure, it'll guarantee her an escape in a lot of situations, but that's all it's going to do, really. It's not going to guarantee a kill in a lot of situations, unless you have yourself and the Wyvern there. And the thing is, because they have both a Necro and a Abaddon here, they're most likely going to crush your safe lane, because although Wyvern's a good support, but I don't think she's that good in this situation, and here's why. Early game, support Wyvern is very dependent on her ability to harass the offlaner through Arctic Burn if she's just sitting in the safe lane. And the issue with that is Abaddon is very strong against that because he can purge the burn with his shield. So if you didn't know, Arctic Burn, if you have, let's say you have like full health when she casts the Arctic Burn on you. Now, aside from the actual attack damage she has, if it's on you for the full duration and you were full health when it started, you'll lose about 25 to 30% of your health. I don't remember the exact number, but it's somewhere around there. And that's pretty significant against high health heroes like Abaddon. 1/3 of his health is like 220, so it would deal like 180 to 220 damage. Or, I'm sorry, 180 to 200 damage, which is pretty significant early in the game for a level 1 spell, even if it is over 6 seconds, or no, 5 seconds. So, but if she ever casts this, he can just use a shield on him or Necro or whoever's she's attacking, and he effectively negates it for that one hero. And then it's like she used the mana and the cooldown for nothing. Like, she can attack the other hero if she gets a chance down here, but still, it's negating a pretty vital part of her kit there in the early game. However, one thing you can do is just like, okay, we're gonna sack the safe lane and just hope we just wreck their top lane and middle lane to win the game for us. Just snowball our heroes. And that's definitely a really viable strategy that I think people overlook. I think people put a little too much weight into hoping that their carries perform well, because sometimes the lane's just so bad that you just have to kind of sack it and have them play safe while you secure an advantage in your other lanes, if that makes any sense. Oh, another thing you could have done here was, you could have started with a sentry, also. Nowadays, as a support, I almost always start with at least one sentry. And the reason is because if you get a D-ward off, it's literally free. Like, you get 100 gold for D-warding, and 25 experience from killing this observer ward. And one real quick thing here. Let's go ahead and back up. Okay, so one thing as a support, you always need to be checking your opponent's inventories. As soon as I see someone come in vision of the team at the start of the game, no matter who it is, if it's an enemy, I will always check their inventory. And the reason is because as a support, you want to know various factors. So for example, offlane Abaddon, what did he start with? How much regen does he have? The amount of regen will tell you if they are able to win the regen fight with you, or if you're going to be able to win it with them easily. Here you can tell Abaddon has a poor man shield and 4 tangos. And for example, you can tell that this Necrophos, on the other hand, only has 2 tangos, because I'm assuming he pulled his mid. Yeah, he only has 2 tangos, so this guy in particular is going to be really easy to harass out. And sure, Abaddon can give him some of his tangos, but even then, it's still not much share between them. And up here, if you take a look, you can tell that Lion has a ton of regen in his inventory, and he also has a smoke, so he's planning on ganking pretty early, it looks like. And finally, you can also see that Silencer has a ward in his inventory. So one thing you can do is just keep him selected until you see him use the ward. So if I see someone that has a ward in their inventory and they go to lane, I'm going to do whatever I can to keep my eye on them without being obvious about it, so that I can de-ward them. Like here, you saw he has a ward, and I should probably turn on fog, hold on. Okay, you see him right here again, and you should immediately click on his inventory to make sure he's not, and you see him stop here. You see him walk forward and stop. Now whenever people walk forward and then just immediately stop in front of like a cliff, or whenever attacking like that, chances are that they just placed an Absorber ward. And you can even tell because you can check his inventory, and he does not have a ward anymore. And you have almost 200 gold right now. You could literally buy a sentry, bring it to you, and then de-ward. And also, because it's a because you have tangos, you can effectively you can use the tangos on the ward to kill it instantly and make sure you get the bounty for it, and also give you that double tango duration, which helps a lot in lane. I like the purge here. That was a good play, I think. Especially since the Lion's just over here attacking creeps. Yeah, I like that. That was good. Oh, nice. You didn't even die there. Okay. Now, at this point, you should be shrining because your health is just so low. After this guy pushes out this wave, you guys should be shrining now. Let's see if you go. Okay, see, the thing is, like, your wave is already pushing to their tower, and their creeps are going to be here. So really, you're not gaining anything by just standing here instead of shrining. Because right now, if you shrine, you would instantly have full health and mana, and your Brewmaster would as well. And the thing is, Brewmaster didn't bring a Clarity, so the only thing he's going to be able to contribute is the Thunderclap in the next fight. And although that's not bad, but the ability to have a second Thunderclap would also be very nice. So really, you should just immediately back up to Shrine and told the Brewmaster come with you, and you guys could have gotten the full heal off while still, I believe you wouldn't have missed a single creep here if you had done it correctly. You may have missed one melee creep, but they're very little experience, so it's not a big deal if you do miss it.
Missing middle.
I'm assuming you pulled there. Sometimes I find that if I'm pulling on the dire side, it's a little bit easier for me to just go through the trees right here. And the reason is because it gives you a little bit better room for error rather than going this way. That's just my experience though. If you've had better success doing it the other way, then I'll continue doing it that way. I'm assuming here you're just waiting to get a kill in the sky. Let's see how you handle this. Okay. I think you maybe could have gotten the kill there. Hold on, let me play this in slow-mo so I can give an exact idea. Okay. So this was done incorrectly, I feel. Okay, so what you should have done was there's a little specific trick that you can do with Fortune's End and Purifying Flames. Sorry if you know this already, but I'll just go ahead and explain it in case you didn't know. But using Purifying Flames and then Fortune's End on a hero like this isn't necessarily the best. Because first of all, he's standing still. He's just channeling. And I think, is he already? No, he's not. Brewmaster didn't use his clap here. Okay, so he's just standing still here. What you could do is you can channel Fortune's End for a while. And then, well, let me see the, so you can see the cast ranges for these are basically like the same. No, they're ones. This Purifying Flames is a little bit shorter. So what you can do is you could walk a tiny bit closer. Okay, so this guy uses his mana drain on the Brewmaster. Now the thing is, if he wants to, as soon as you cast Fortune's End, you're immediately revealed for the channeling. Like, you can't really do it from the fog for the entire time. As soon as you start casting it from them, they start hearing the sound and you are revealed, even if you're standing in the trees. But the thing is, if Lion wanted to run, he has to turn and then run, which means he has to use his turn rate. And, you know, I'm curious, let's look up Lion's turn rate real quick. What is his turn rate? Okay, his turn rate is 0.5. And currently that is... Okay, 0.5 is actually pretty slow. So the slowest turn rate is 0.4, and the next one above that is 0.5. So that means that, according to the wiki, his turn time to turn all the way around is about 1/5 of a second, which is pretty large when you actually think about it, you know? So this means if this guy turns to run, he's not running at all for like 1/5 of a second. So one thing you could do is you could walk a tiny bit closer, like right up to here, and then cast the Fortune's End on him during the channeling, and then as he starts to turn and run, if he does run, you immediately cast the Purifying Flames on him. And what that does is, because you end the channel of Fortune's End with your Purifying Flames cast, your Purifying Flames hits him first, and then your Purge hits him and purges the flames off immediately. That's really useful because it gets you more charge time on your Fortune's End, but it also makes sure that you heal them for the least amount possible on your Purifying Flames, too. Like, you could have gotten probably like a 2-second channel off here, and that may have killed him. And then you also would have gotten the second Purifying Flames to kill him. And as Oracle, you can do that either on targets that are running and release it at the sweet spot. Because the thing for that trick is, if they're too close to you, then you'll actually hit them with the Fortune's End first before the Purifying Flames because of your cast time. But if you use it in the sweet spot, which is like right around this area, I don't remember what exactly it is. You know, I'll look it up. I didn't want to give you the wrong information. Okay, cast animation is... Okay, what is the speed? Okay, so Fortune's End has a speed of 1200. And Purifying Flames, the cast animation before it's cast is 0.3 seconds. So if I take that, let's bring up a calculator. Okay, 1200 times 0.3, okay, 360. So let's round it up and say about 400. So at about, if your enemy's about 400 range from you, which is about this far, it's about the size of like Verse Polarity, I think. But if they're at 400 range for you, you can perform that combo with pretty good reliability. And right here, like I said, he's standing still, and if he runs, he has to turn. So you could have gotten a more efficient channel off there. So I want to see how long you got that channel off for. Okay. Oh, you didn't even channel it that long. Yeah, that was the problem. See, although you can release the channel immediately, I think that's something you probably shouldn't have done here, because if you had channeled it for like even a second, you would have killed him. Like, I know there's something to be said here about a silencer killing you, but if you had channeled it for the full time here, and you hit this guy, the lion, if you channel it for about 1 second, 1.5 seconds, maybe even 2 if you're lucky, the lion would be stuck here, and he would be dead by now. And that means you wouldn't have to worry about getting stunned by him. You could just run away through the trees here, and the Brewmaster can go on the silencer if the silencer tries to follow you. Like, you wouldn't need to run up this far if you had channeled the duration enough for the lion. Oh, nice, he missed because of the Brewmaster. I think you would have lived anyway. Okay. Sorry that took so long, but yeah, to repeat, if you're 400 range or more away from the target, you can use Fortune's End and then end the channel with the Purifying Flames. And as long as they're more than 400 range away from you, but still within the max range for Purifying Flames, you'll hit them with the nuke first, and then immediately afterwards the Fortune's End will hit them, because it's a projectile. Okay, I'm assuming you're going to Shrine now. I don't know if this guy's coming or not. I guess he is. You should have come earlier, but whatever. I guess you don't have any control over that. Best to wait for him though, don't get me wrong. I don't think you should have stacked you. I think you should have just... You could have just led them up here, honestly. Like, if you take a look at the area of the camp, you could have just led them up here, enshrined. Well, then you probably would have gotten there before the Brewmaster backed away. And I mean, okay, I said you should have waited for the Brewmaster, and I don't know what you guys were communicating at this point, but right now you have about less than 20% of your health, so you're not really going to be doing much other than soaking experience here. Kind of just wasting time right now. So if the Brewmaster really isn't going to use it, then you should just go ahead and use it. Like, I mean, if you were speaking with this guy, and he said, okay, I'll come afterwards, that's fine. But don't wait forever, just so you can, you know, find out your ally isn't going to use it after all. I think you should have spot boots at the side shop. There was no need to buy them at base. Like, I almost never have my boots delivered as a support myself. I just buy them from the side shop, unless I'm doing some really heavy roaming.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Let's see if you're gonna do anything with this. Right now you're kind of standing in lane, and that's not terrible because it's, I guess it's not like as bad as, you know, doing it to your carry, but you know, you're still really not doing anything right now. And see, exactly, this is, okay, I guess they're bad and didn't play that correctly. Yeah. Okay, well anyways, like I mentioned earlier, Abaddon just dove your Spectre under tower and killed her. And, I mean, sure, the Abaddon died too, but if you look at the log here, he got twice as much gold, and he also killed her first, which means he gets the full amount of experience for killing her, and she gets no experience, which is going to put her at a even more of a disadvantage in lane. Like, she's level 4 in lane right now, and both the people she's against in this duel offlane are the same level as her. But like I said, maybe it is best for you guys to sack the lane. I'm not quite sure what you guys were communicating at this point. But if that was what you were doing, just make sure that you let the carry know to play safe. But yeah, you might have done that. I do like the rotation here. Abaddon does have low mana, but you're not able to make anything of it. I want to take a look at something real quick. You just walk there. Okay, so you went mid, you walked mid, you didn't do anything, you just soaked some experience, and you went to the shrine, and, I mean, although that's technically good, like, you're still not really doing anything at this point. Oh, and you put those in a little late, but, that's a good thing to do. And then you went bot. I don't like how your Wyvern committed so much already, even though you weren't there. I guess that's the problem against this duel offlane, is that they just have so much sustain with the Death Pulse and the Aphotic Shield that it's really hard for you guys to kill them once they get some levels up. Because now they're already both level 4. Which means they're gonna have, I assume, oh no. Okay, wow, this guy just went a terrible build. Never mind then. But still, it's gonna be harder. Oh, I guess they're Abaddon left. Okay, so I think he messed up here. I didn't see it, but I heard it. Let's see what happened. Okay, yeah. Again, what you could have done is, see, the great thing about the Purge and Flames combo I mentioned earlier is that you don't have to commit to it. So you can just charge the Fortune's End and then go on him. And I think a problem with letting him... See, the thing is, you can actually purge his Ghost Shroud. So I think maybe you should have waited a bit before you use that purge on him. Especially because you didn't actually even charge it for like... You charged it for like 7/10 of a second, I think. So really, if you're just walking up this early, if you're just walking up to them to use Fortune's End and your Purifying Flames, it's not very good unless you know that you can kill them immediately, right? So the thing about using, to expand on this, when you use Fortune's End and you're just using it to purge the heal off of Purifying Flames, you need to be doing that whenever you're trying to nuke someone down as fast as possible. And the problem is, your Wyvern, she's only level 3, and she only has 1 point in her Splinter Blast, so it only has 100 damage. Your Spectre has 0 burst potential, especially because she only has 1 point in Spectral Dagger. So you're not going to kill this, you're not going to burst this guy down. So what you should have done is just walk up to him and start attacking him, and seeing if he uses Ghost Shroud. And if he doesn't, you can just channel a full duration Fortune's End on him to slow him down a ton, and along with the Purifying Flames. You did get the kill here, but I think it's like, even though you got the kill, I think it's important to look at things you did and say what exactly could I have done this better. Because it's one thing to like look at your mistakes and say, challenge yourself to do better on those, but it's another thing to look at what you did right and to ask yourself how you could do things even better. Because just because you did something right and got a kill doesn't necessarily mean that you would have gotten that kill in other circumstances. Like, becoming a great Dota player isn't just about not making mistakes, it's also about doing things correctly, just like playing better overall. I'm sorry if that was a little rambly, that's just me trying to explain why sometimes I'm a little nitpicky on things even if you do get the kill in the end.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And see, right now is where the lack of starting with another clarity is going to hurt you. Because, like I mentioned earlier, Oracle's early game has really been nerfed with the Purifying Flames mana cost increases. So, you can't even cast one combo right now. All you have mana for is either one Fortune's End or a Fate's Edict and a Fortune's End. That's all you can cast right now until you get more mana. And although wands are great, they aren't particularly good at mana regeneration. They're good at giving you burst mana in fights, but that's about it. Another thing is, I wouldn't have gotten a magic wand this early. I think a wand is a great item, and I would buy it pretty much every game on Oracle, but I don't think you necessarily need it right at level 4. Like, one thing you could buy this game is you could buy a Raindrop. And Raindrops are amazing on Oracle because they really help out that mana issue he has. It gives you 0.85 mana a second, which gives you 85 mana over 100 seconds, which means every 100 seconds you're basically getting a free Purifying Flames. And even if it doesn't seem like much, it's a ton. It's a lot more than you would think. And also, because their team has so much magic damage, that Raindrop will also help you a lot in that regard as well.
Mission middle.
Maybe you pick up a Raindrop later, but I think you would have been better served by just buying a Raindrop at this point instead of finishing your magic wand. Like, you actually could just buy it now and afford it just fine. Okay, and I'm guessing you're waiting for the Wyvern to come. You're baiting them. Did you use the... Okay, yeah, that was good. I like that. you maybe should have casted your Fortune's End earlier there, just to make sure nobody died. But on the other hand, you made them dive and punish them for it, which is good. I like how you immediately used Fate's Edict on the Spectre as soon as she got frozen. Otherwise, I think she definitely would have died there. It's a very good combo, Fate's Edict and the Cold Embrace. And hopefully you'll be able to use that more this game. Okay, right now you're just going to Fountain. Okay, I mean you have no mana, so that's fine. Hold on. So one thing you could have just done was, so if you walk back to base, it takes you about 20 seconds to fully refill your health on mana, assuming they're at like 1%. And mana actually has a small buff in Fountain where it heals a percentage along with a flat rate to your mana. But it's still pretty slow. So one thing you could do is, are all these available? Yeah, all these are available. It's hard to tell in replays with these bugs, but all the other fountains and base are available. So, if you're ever going back to base, especially if you're a support, or if you're any hero really, if you're going back to base in the early game, just use a Shrine. Like, it's so much faster, it heals you up all the way in like 5 seconds, and then you can go to Fountain and grab your TP and head off wherever you need to be immediately. And you'll be there like 10, 15, even 20 seconds faster than you would be otherwise. You can react to TP ganks you never would be able to if you had just walked all the way to Fountain. It's also closer. Like, you can even just walk to here and have your courier bring you the items if it's already at base, and then you're good to go and you've saved so much time. Like, at this early in the game, it's almost never worth just saving a Fountain in the base because you already have 5. Or, I'm sorry, a Shrine in the base. Okay. Good disarm. Okay, I like how you went on the Lion there. Because actually the Ember wouldn't have enough mana. Ooh, I wonder if you could have killed him. You know what? Yeah, I was about to go on the line here because the Ember was going high ground. And although you could have stood up here to still see him, with the creeps coming up might have been a little risky. So I think it's good you charged on the line there. I don't really have much to complain about there. I'm not really a fan of using Purifying Flames to heal allies early in the game. And the reason is because, so it's 135 mana currently for a 198 heal over 9 seconds. Like, I mean, that's not bad or anything, but I think it's not that great either. Like, it just uses a ton of your mana and prevents you from using it, from using the rest of your abilities. Especially because, like, if you had full mana, I would consider it, but you already were dangerous. You already only had like half. So this puts you at a place where you can't really use anything other than enough Purifying Flames, unless you happen to get a couple of wand charges so you can use your Fortune's End. Like, I mean, you weren't going to get that kill there regardless, but maybe you could go somewhere and you'd use that mana with something. You know? Let's try and back up, not quite.
Don't mind if I do.
Your Pudge missed the hook.
Regeneration.
Yeah, I didn't really do anything. That's why I don't like committing Purifying Flames these days. Unless, like, I know my team's there and they've already gone on him. Like, I just prefer casting the Fortune's End. And if they're still within the range at that time, I'll use the Purifying Flame with the combo with it. That's not a bad ward, but you know what ward I really like? I like this ward, like, put it right here. And the reason is because it gives you vision of whoever's farming this camp. Gives you vision all the way down here, in case they try to gank your safe lane through the trees. And also it gives you a little bit of vision into the river. And right now, the only thing this ward does that it wouldn't do over here is it gives some vision over in this direction. And that's just not all that necessary, especially when you already have a ward over here. You know, this one's already almost expired. Okay, so it just covers this area over here. And right now, this area is a lot more valuable, especially for your carrier who is currently farming. Like, this right here is a great ward spot, and I really like it. I'm not sure why you used the Purifying Flames on him there. Maybe you didn't count your mana in advance, so you weren't able to recognize if you'd be able to cast Fortune's End. Maybe you assumed you had mana for it, but you actually didn't.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And again, like, you'd have a lot more mana at this point if you had bought a raindrop like 8 minutes ago. I like that you got Arcanes though. It's gonna help a lot. Wonder if you casted that before. Oh, okay, that was at the same time. Okay. It's unfortunate it doesn't purge that, actually. I didn't know that. Oh, that's interesting. Like, Fortune's End will purge Yules, I'm pretty sure, but it looks like it doesn't purge the Brewmaster Cyclone, which I actually did not know. Okay, and you're a shrine here, that's great. Okay, and I like that you waited there to put your items in, because right here is a trap, which means that putting your items from your backpack in your inventory in this area will automatically activate them instantly. Whereas over here, you can just stash your items in your backpack and then immediately put them back, and because of the 6-second timer, they'll be back immediately after your heal completes. So I like that you waited the full time there. I've seen a lot of players put their items in their backpack here and then immediately put them back in their inventory, but then it ends up not mattering because the item gets activated instantly. And your Spectre died there. Hard to say if you could do anything about that, because there was just so many heroes and none of your other allies were there. Probably should just pay attention to where your allies are whenever you channel Fortune's End. I see you channeling a lot of Fortune's End ends that are like really short channels, and although that's not bad, when you're using on an enemy for a short channel, usually the only reasons you want to do so are if you're trying to nuke them down immediately, or if they have a buff you want to purge, or you would just want for the damage because they're very close to dying, which again follows the whole nuking thing. And right there, none of those were true. I guess you're gonna kill him anyway, he's dumbass. Whatever. Why did you do that? That's really not worth it. Yeah, Arcane Curse really doesn't deal that much damage unless it's a high level and you get a bunch of stacks on you. So it lasts for a super long time. But you can just look at the Arcane Curse on you and see how fast it's decrementing. It was just kind of a waste of mana to use it there. You're only going to lose like maybe 50 more health. Oh, you should have just kept going. Oh, but lucky crit. Could have lost that kill very easily. I don't think it's not necessary to usually cast the Fortune's End on your allies when you have the Fates Edict. The only time I do that is if I false promise somebody and they're fighting, but I want to heal them as fast as possible. Like, say, if I have a allied PA or something, or a Huskar, and I just want to give them as much heals as possible, I'll just use false promise, disarm, and then heal, and then use the Fortune's End. And you normally don't want to do that because it's extremely inexpensive to use the Fortune's End just to cancel the 3-second disarm on this. Like, you could have just waited for him to farm this camp, especially because he has a Vlad's. Like, he's not going to die from this camp because of the Vlad's. So you could just wait for him to farm the camp, and then leave, and then use the disarm on him, and he would suffer literally nothing for it. And he would still get the full heal off. I'm okay about that real quick. Let's slow that down. Okay, you see your Brewmaster got a kill. Very nice. Okay, so first problem. You're going up here, okay, you know what, you have mana here. I was gonna say you're low on mana, but you have Arcane Boots and a couple of charges, so actually you're gonna be fine. So let's see what happens exactly. Okay, so you see Ember Spirit, and you see a Lion right here. So I should immediately tell you that you need to stay away from these heroes, because both of them have area of effect stuns. Like, Searing Chains isn't really a stun, but as far as you're concerned with your hero, it might as well be. And the problem is, like, let me slow this down, because you can't see the cast range. It's okay. You're already in the cast range, and right now you're literally setting yourself up for the Earth Spike and the Searing Chains. Like, you didn't need to walk up this far, especially because, okay, you need to get in range for Fate's Edict, but you didn't need to get in range for the False Promise. Like, you could just False Promised him, and he would be fine. Okay, so here's what you could have done in that situation. Okay. So you don't need to get in range for Fate's Edicts first. You want to cast False Promise on him first. So what you could do is, you could hide in the trees right here. Okay? And I don't think they would have vision of you. Yeah, they wouldn't have vision of you if you walked in right here. So you could just hide in the trees right here, and wait for the Brewmaster to walk in here. And the other problem is, because when you used False Promise on him, his Hex was already almost up. So, using False Promise on your allies, you want to time it, if you can, right when their disables begin. So that's not always true in every case, but right now, you know that they're probably going to have Earth Spike, and they're also going to have Searing Chains ready soon. So you want to use your False Promise to effectively nullify the disable of one of those abilities. So you should have hidden the trees here, and you should have just waited for them to use their next stun, because the Hex was almost up. You want to maximize the strong dispel it gives you. But see, the thing is, he only had like 0.2 of a second left. You could have just waited over here, and waited for the Lion to use Earth Spike, and then hit him with the False Promise. And also, because you wouldn't be right behind this Brewmaster, you wouldn't have gotten hit by the Earth Spike, and thus you wouldn't have gotten hit by the triple Remnant into Searing Chains. And you may not have died. I mean, you might have died anyway because of the Necro coming here, but you still could have played that better. And after this guy got attacked here, you could either keep healing him, or TP out once you saw that was a Necro.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
He's dead. Oh well, rip. So you could have used the False Promise on that guy, and then as soon as you saw the Necro there, you could have TP'd out and maybe survived.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, your Spectre's actually caught up pretty well, considering her pretty terrible start in lane. Okay, and next you queue up your Urn. I really like Urn Oracle. I think it's a key item nowadays. As I'm sure you know, Urn charges are effectively can't be canceled during False Promise anymore, except by most Dispels. Most Dispels will remove it, but they don't have any on their team naturally. They don't have any offensive Dispels naturally. So they would have to buy a Eul's or a Diffusal to counter it. So with the Urn, you'll usually end up healing about 600, 700 health with it, because the Urn charge lasts a little longer than your beginning False Promise duration. But it's still a fantastic item on him anyways, especially because you can actually Fate's Edict someone and then use the Urn them, and if they're only being targeted by magic damage, then the Urn will still keep going. And one thing you can do on Oracle, which I haven't been abusing too much, but I think I should probably do it more, is you can actually use Healing Salves on people during your False Promise, and it won't be dispelled. It'll act just like Urn. So, yeah, that's a thing. I think you maybe could have picked one or two of those up to use as a cheap Urn, just in case of bad situations. You have to get a little bit close for the Healing Salve, but I think it's powerful enough to consider in a lot of games. But yeah, Urn's a great item. Always support it.
Mission middle.
Okay, let's see what you're doing with this. You're sitting mid. I guess you're waiting for them to go on the pudge. Or get a hook. Oh, your Brewer's dead. That's unfortunate. Okay. Okay, that was good. Against Ember, you might want to do more quick Fortune's Ends rather than channeling it for a long duration, and that's because his Flame Guard is a very important part of his survivability early in the game. I guess that was a good cast on Pudge. I think maybe you should have healed the Pudge there. At least once. But at least you got the deny off. I'm kind of surprised. Don't know how that happened. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, nice, you got the kill anyways. Oh, but you're gonna die. Oh, you have one. Okay, nice. You should have used your Fate's Edict right before the, Urn there. I think. Yeah, just check your buffs next time. The curse was already gone on you. You can check the duration by looking at the little circle around here. Same for Urn. I'm gonna watch a couple more minutes, and then we'll be done here. Okay, you're running around. Oh, you don't have a TP for bottom. I guess you were looking for that. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, at this point, let me see exactly when you TP. Okay, so you TP'd here at this moment in time, and you had 30 seconds left on your false promise. You have no Urn charges, and you're a little bit low on mana, but not too bad because you do have arcanes, but no wand charges. Okay, and the problem was they have. You already saw that they have. Let me make sure. Okay. Okay, you already see that they have 3 heroes here right now. Okay, maybe you didn't see the 4th, but you should have known that they already had 3 heroes here, and you don't have False Promise to contribute. So maybe in this case, it would have been just best to just let them die, because there's really nothing you can do here. You're just wasting your time by showing up, honestly. Because you don't even have False Promise. Oh, and I have another thing to talk about. Okay. So real quick, let's go ahead and talk about your skill build for this game. Okay, so skill build for most Oracles up until level 7 is almost always the same. You'll get 1 point in Fortune's End, 1 point in Fate's Edict, Max Purifying Flames, 4 points in by 7, and you get 1 point in your ult, right? Okay. Now after that is where it gets interesting. Now, one thing that triggers me when people play Oracle is I think they max the Fortune's End too early, too much. And what I mean by that is Fate's Edict scales really well. The duration doesn't look like it goes up by much, but look at the cooldown. It goes from 16 seconds to 7 seconds. That means you have, at level 1, you have less than 20% uptime, but at level 4, you have about 60% uptime or so. So right now, there's also another factor the game does not show you, and that is the fact that Fate's Edict also scales in cast range. So real quickly, I'll just bring this over here. So, where is it? Fate's Edict, okay. Fate's Edict actually has a scaling cast range, so it goes from 500 to 800, and that's a pretty significant difference. That is almost double the range. It's very large. And that can mean the difference between getting close enough to use Fate's Edict and dying, and getting close enough to use it and not die. Now, that being said, there are some cases where you want to max Fortune's End second. And this game, I think, is the perfect example. And to look at why, I'll go over their abilities that you can purge. You can purge Lion's Hex from an allied unit. You can, on Ember Spirit, you can purge Flame Guard. And you also can purge Searing Chains from an allied unit. On Silencer, you can purge Arcane Curse, and also Last Word. In fact, Last Word won't even deal any damage if you purge it during the wind-up portion, where it just has the indicator on you before it deals damage. Like, if you purge it at that point, it won't deal any damage, unless it's on you. If it's on yourself, then it will deal damage to you right before you get the purge off, but you'll still avoid the silence. You can technically purge off global silence, but it's a little bit difficult, and actually it's ridiculously difficult, and it requires a lot of prediction, like so much that it's just not feasible most of the time. For Abaddon, you can purge off the Curse of Avernus off of allies and enemies, but it's not that useful against him. On Necrophos, you can purge the Ghost Shroud. And one thing I learned today was, before I started recording, I looked up the abilities because I was curious, and you actually cannot dispel the Death Pulse healing from his... remember how he used to have Sadist, and now it's merged into Death Pulse? Well, you actually can't dispel the healing and mana he gets from killing units for some reason. I learned that today. But anyways, like I said, you've got a bunch of heroes there that you can make significant things happen with Fortune's End. But I think you should have gotten 2 points in Fate's Edict this game before that. And the reason why is because of your cast times, a Fate's Edict, it's not possible to cast 2 Purifying Flames on Fate's Edict at level 1. You need a level 2 in order to be able to cast it twice on one unit. And even then, it's pretty close, but it is possible. And that's why I always get at least 2 levels in Fate's Edict, even if I do max the Purge second, because it just gives you a lot of value there. And it also increases the CD to 13 and gives you 100 extra range. But like I said, most games I do max Fate's Edict first, just because it improves the skill so much. When you max Fortune's End, all that really improves is the damage and the cooldown. And although the cooldown is nice, I found that unless I really need to dispel things a lot, that it's just not useful to have it off cooldown that much unless I'm snowballing or I really need the lockdown. Because I found that just standing in fights and just channeling it for the max duration in team fights later in the game often will just get you killed. That's just my experience, though. Again, that was just kind of a waste of mana. I noticed that one issue you have is that you kind of just waste your spells a lot. Like, you'll just walk up to a person and randomly use your Fortune's End on them, or use your Fortune's End and a Purifying Flames on them. It's pretty punishing on Oracle, especially after all the mana nerfs. I think that's one big thing you could work on, is your ability to recognize when you should cast spells or not. And you know what, with that, let's go ahead and look at the scoreboard. I don't want this to run on too long. Let me see. Oh wow, it's been an hour already. Okay, sorry if this has been a little rambly, but I'll go ahead and finish up now. Okay, so let's take a look at the scoreboard. Okay, so you got Guardian Greaves this game. Let's go ahead and rewind to see what happened. Okay, we're currently at 19 minutes. Things look good. Okay, you get a 4-staff first. And you got a mech and you got Greaves. Okay. I think that's okay. I like 4-staff in this game. It's not amazing, but it's pretty decent. Like, they don't really have a melee hero you can kite really well, like Life Sealer or something. But it's good enough that I think it was worthwhile to pick it up then. You could have considered going in mech if you guys were having a lot of team fights, because the mech would give you an instant heal. But it's not necessarily required. And by mech, I mean a faster mech, rather than getting force first. Let's see what talents you got. Okay, you got the 20 XP gain, the 60 gold per minute, and the 25 movement speed. Let me go ahead and look up the talents, because I don't exactly remember what they are always. Okay. Level 10, I think the 20% XP gain is okay. But 20 seconds respawn time is really powerful. I guess it just depends on how much you're dying, and how much you predict yourself to die. Okay, level 15. You know what, I think at level 15, the extra 200 health probably would have been better. Because 60 gold per minute at level 3 is at level 15 is kind of terrible. Like, think about it this way, let's see what level you were at that point in the game. You were level 15 at 28 minutes. Okay. So you have to consider how much gold this is giving you over the course of an entire game. So over 10 minutes, 60 GPM will grant you an extra 600 gold. So this game, you got an extra almost 1,200 gold by having that JPM talent. And I mean, that's not bad. The thing is, if you have more health, then you may be able to survive in more situations where you wouldn't otherwise, which may allow you to play more aggressive. And that means you may get more kills and you may die less, which also can indirectly increase your the gold you get. And if you look at this game, they've got a bunch of damage that is kind of hard to avoid. Like, you've got the all the damage the Emperor is pumping out. Like, even if you can purge his shield, the Sleight of Fist and the Searing Chains are still likely going to land on you sometimes and deal a bunch of damage. And you have Silencer with his Curse, and you also have Baden with his shield. And occasionally Necro with his Death Pulse might hit you. So there's a pretty decent amount of area of effect damage. And that's a situation where getting the extra health will really pay off. I think that would have been much better this game, personally. Then at level 20, you have the choice between intelligence and movement speed. I think the movement speed is better here. The intelligence is really just if you need all the extra mana, but that's usually not the case at level 20 unless you're just casting purges everywhere. At 25, you actually didn't get the 25, but if you were curious, at level 25, between the two, the duration and the cast range, I think both of them are good and have their own situations. I would probably get the cast range this game. But, was there anything else? Oh, right, I wanted to show you that combo I was talking about real quick. Okay, so where is Oracle? Okay. Where's the demo hero button? You know, it's not showing up. Okay, well, I was going to show you how to, do the, combo I was talking about, but it looks like my game just doesn't want to load it. If I didn't explain that combo between Fortune's End and Purifying Flames well enough, just let me know, and I will make a video for you, showing it in the demo hero mode. If you have any questions about, oh, you know why I can't see it? It's probably because I didn't exit the game. The match, I mean. Okay, now I can do it. Okay. But anyways, while we're waiting for this to load, if you have any questions about things I mentioned or didn't mention, feel free to ask me. Just shoot me a message or put a comment here or on the Reddit thread or something. Like I said, sometimes I get a little rambly, and I'm not always the best at exercising my point and explaining it correctly. Okay, so level some X, free spells. Okay, now
Prepare for battle.
enemy. Let's level it up so he has some health. Okay. So let's make this guy. Oh, oops, wrong one. Okay. Let's make this guy run around a lot. Okay. So let's say you see this axe coming along, and you are hiding in the trees here, and you want to use the combo. You cast this on him, and wait for him to be at the correct range, and see, he gets hit perfectly, so that he gets hit by the purge immediately after the nuke. And I can do this again for you real quick. See, right before. You know, let's do the, let's do the range, 400. Yeah, so this is the range that you have to be within to do it. So, okay, let's stop. Okay. Pretty sure I got it there. But again, if you want to practice that, just go into demo hero mode or something and just try it out a bunch. Just experiment with it and try to get it correct. And it'll really help your Oracle play. Like, it seriously helped me get my combos down and be efficient with them. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Hopefully I was able to help you out.